Hi friends, welcome back. We have discussed about the introduction about the unit 3 organizing. Now we are going to discuss about that organization structure. I think you have understand the concepts of that organization, its nature and the purpose of the organization in the previous topic. Now we are going to discuss about the organization structure, how an organization has to be given. Okay, in this one we are going to discuss about that organization chart and the process of that organization structure, then types of organization structure, then elements of the organization structures in this topic. And in that one we are going to discuss two types of organization structures, and inside that one also we are having so many divisions. Let me start with that introduction of that organization structure. First we will start with that organization chart. What is an organization chart? You know that one generally a chart is a representation of a flow of program. We know that flow chart means it gives the flow of data which is inputted through a computer. Similarly, here is the organization chart is a graphical representation of the structure of an organization. It shows the relationship of the positions or jobs within the organization. Okay, visual representation of how a firm intends authority, responsibility and information to flow within its formal organizational structure. It usually shows the different management functions and the authorization and responsibilities of each group. Okay, see that one. Here we are having, see the diagram. Here this chart, when you see this, the chart itself gives there is a higher authority, that is a chairman. Under the chairman there are two VPs, vice presidents. One is for production service, another one is for sales. Under the vice president there is sales managers are there, and that similarly under the service vice president there is service managers are there. Under the service managers there will be sales executives under the sales manager, and under the service manager there will be supervisors. Under the supervisors workers will be there. Okay, this is the chart. This chart will be visually, when you see that one, it visually it shows the functions of each department and what is the flow of authorization with that also. See that one. The sales representative has to get permission from the sales managers, executives, and the sales executives has to get approval for any product sales from their sales executives, managers, and similarly that the flow is going like that one. It also shows the decision making power travels downward and answerability travels upward. Okay. Here is another one example. This is an organization chart of a wind power station. See that one. The wind turbine power station of Kavatur. Okay. Here the chart shows that there is a chairman or governing council will be there. Secretary and council supporting for that secretary financially, as well as whatever decision he wants to make, there will be a governing council. Under that chairman there will be management committee and director general. The director general also have a supporting team for research and development. There is a research and development council, and there is an administration council also there. Under the director general there are so many departments. That is one department, wind resource assessment department, and then solar radiation resource assessment department, standards and certification department. Each department is allocated with some works and they are having some authorization and responsibilities. See that one. The wind turbine testing department is having some research station, and one of the research station is like Kavatur is given there. Okay, see that when you see that diagram chart itself, it can be known to you who is having the highest authority and how many work functions are there, how many works has to be done by each department is there. Okay, so we are having 7 departments are there, and each department is reporting their work to their director general. Okay, the director general also have a supporting team, that is development council, R&D council will be there, and administration team also there to monitor the works of these departments, and everything has to be submitted to the director general. The director general has to submit his report to the chairman. Okay, like that there is a flow from the top to down, and answerability flow from down to top. Okay, next, the organization structure. What is an organization structure? It defines how tasks are divided and resources are deployed and departments are coordinated. So first, the organization structure divides the work. For example, if you are taking a textile industry, when you are taking the textile industry, first the raw material has to be purchased, and the purchased raw material has to be cleaned, and a clear cotton has to be obtained. From the cotton it should be converted to threads, and from the threads it should be converted to cloths. From the cloths it has to be stitched, and then it has to be export. Okay, so the production team has to take care about the weaving of cloths, and there will be a stitching department. He will that will take care about the models. Based on the models they will stitch us the cloth, and then there will be a QC department that will check the quality of the cloths to be exported, and there will be a marketing team that will take care about the export of that dresses. Okay, so we have to divide the entire task among the group of people, and we have to provide resources to them. Okay, so for the production team, they are in need of cotton. So the purchase team has to purchase cotton from the local people, agriculture lands, farms are from nearby areas. They have to collect the cotton, and they have to check the quality of the cotton. Then that should be given to the production team. Okay, and then structure basically deals with the relationship among the groups also. The system of job position, role assigned to these positions, and specifying the authority and responsibility, then task of every position is known as an organization structure. So is it clear to you that we are dividing the work among the group of people, and the group of people who are all expertise in that particular subject. Okay, you cannot make a low level people, that is supervisor, to give the planning of the entire organization. So we are having certain people of certain experts. They are all grouped into departments. Okay, that departments has to take care about the what are all the works to be done, and each department has a head. He is given a authorization, and he is given by a responsibility to be done, and each position is known to that what is to be done by them, and to whom they have to report, and how they have to achieve their goal. Okay, that organization structure shows the authority and responsibility relationship. Also, it clarifies who reports to whom. Okay, already I explained that one. It clarifies who reports to whom. Okay, the structure provide a means of balancing two conflicting forces, that is division of tasks and integrate the groupings. We are dividing the task among groups, and each group has its own expertization. So we have to integrate each department into one goal. They have to work towards their main organization aim, and we have to obtain the maximum efficiency from that group people by coordinating them. Okay, without the work completed by the production team, that a stitching team cannot complete. That is, if you are not weaving the cloth, the stitching team cannot cut the cloth, and they cannot make that the cloth into a skirt or a gown like that one. They cannot prepare that one. That cannot be exported with that. So there should be a coordination between the production team, that is cloth weaving team, and the machine that is tailoring team, and the marketing team. Okay, so that coordination is very important. Next, the main objectives of the organization structure. When you are going for that organization, the main objective of the organization structure is there are three main objectives. First one, to develop a coordination among the different activities performed by various departments and to avoid the duplication of the works, that is efforts at the time of execution of the necessary activities, and then to execute the all necessary activities and avoid the unnecessary activities. For example, I already told you now, you are going to conduct a symposium. If you have a team for purchasing the things necessary for the decoration committee or for the that paper presentation committee or the game conduction committee, there should be one purchase team. Okay, there should not be duplication among the groups. If the decoration committee purchase the needs of their decoration things, if they purchase it by their own means, there is no need for that purchase committee. Okay, so the if the purchase committee is there, means that decoration committee has to report what are all the things needed for them to the purchase committee only. The purchase committee will take care about that one. Okay, so both of them should not do the works, so that duplication should be avoided. Okay, so whenever you are doing some work, you have to monitor that one, what are all the activities has to be done and what should be avoided. Okay, next, types of organizational structure. Based on the power flow within the organization, there are two types of organizational structure. First one is bureaucratic or mechanistic structure. Next one is organic or adaptive structure. Next, based on the formation of departments or groups, it may be classified as line organization structure, functional organization structure, divisional organization structure, line and staff organizational structure, product organization structure, committee or matrix organization structure. Okay, first let me start with that. Before going in depth in that types of organization structure, we will discuss the elements of the organizational structure. Okay, see that one, see the diagram itself. There are four elements in that organizational structure. First one is departmentalization. Second one is span of control. Next one is centralization. Final one is formalization. What is that departmentalization? Already I told you now, the first function of a organization is to divide the work into departments. See that one. Here is an example in the diagram itself. There is a functional department, product department, customer care department, geographic department, matrix department. Like that one we are having based on the functionality, what is the product you are going to do, and based on the customers you are going to face, geographical area and the flow of control. There we are dividing that work into departmentalization. Next one is span of control. The number of people directly reporting to the next level is called as span. Okay, see that one, we are having one director. Under the director we are having three managers. Now the span of control is 3. Okay, the span of control of the director is 3. Under the manager there may be 4 or 5 supervisors, means the span of the manager will be 5. Okay, like that one. Next one is centralization. Who is going to take the decision? That is called as centralization. Formal decision making authority is held by few people, usually at the top level. See that one, we are having a director, means the director will take the decision, not by the managers. Okay, so the managers has to give their ideas to the director and the director has to take the decision. Okay, fourth one is formalization. Here, the degree to which the organization standardizes behavior through rules, procedures, formal training and related mechanisms. If you are not having policies or rules or procedures, then you cannot implement your ideas correctly. Okay, though you are having perfect plans to achieve your goal, you have to follow certain rules. What are all the rules you have defined? You have to follow that one. We are having certain procedures. That procedure has to be followed perfectly to obtain the final output. Okay. Next, the types. We have discussed two types now. Based on the flow of control, we are having bureaucratic or mechanistic organization. It is based on the formal centralized network. What is that? Technical or mechanistic organization? It is based on a formal centralized network. So that the top-down organization is there now. That is called as mechanistic organization. It is based on a formal organization. Okay, it is high in specialization, formalization and centralization. There should be a rule formed by that group, means in the formal organization group. Already we have discussed now in the introduction itself. In the formal organization, you are having high specification, okay, specialization. A group of specialists will be there as an expert. Under them certain people will be working, so that people working under the group directors has to report to their higher authorities only. There will be some formalities and there is a centralization. It is easy to maintain and rarely needs to be changed. If you are following that perfectly, it is easy to maintain that one. Okay, here the well-defined hierarchy where top level make the majority of the decisions. Since the top level is taking decisions, there will be a perfect hierarchy. Okay, so there is no need to change that hierarchy, decisions and other things periodically. Okay, next, organic or adaptive organization. It is unstable and dynamic environment. Okay, this is unstable means here there is no hierarchy followed for that. So whenever a labor is having an idea, he can approach the CEO, or he is having some freedom to express his feelings. Okay, like that one. That is informal organization we have discussed now. That will be coming under this organic or adaptive organization. It is complex and need quickly adapt or change the environment. Okay, this is mostly expected to be adapted in a changing environment. Okay, it is low in specialization, formalization and decentralization. So already we have discussed that in the mechanistic organization. It is formal, but this is informal. Okay, when an environment is when an environment changes, an organization must be able to gather, process and distribute information very quickly. In the changing environment, it is very suitable to go for the adaptive organization. Here is the comparison between the mechanistic and organic organization. Okay, based on the type of environment, for mechanistic we are having a stable environment, but for organic it is an innovative environment. Next, comparable to classical organization. So it is formal organization. Next one is behavioral organization, emphasis on self-control only. Okay, adherence to chain of command is firm. Okay, here the top level manager has the commanding power. Okay, here it is in the organic, it is flexible chain of command, often bypassed. Sometimes if the labor want to express his feelings, he directly approaches the director. It is so flexible with that one. Okay, type of departmentalization, it is a functional. This is divisional. Okay, that organic is divisional. How specialized are jobs? Here the mechanistic, it is perfectly specialized. Here it is not necessary to have a specialized job. Next, degree of decentralization. Decision making is centralized in mechanistics, but here it is not centralized. Okay, span of control, it is a narrow span of control in the mechanistic organization, but in organic it is a wider. Okay, type of coordination, here we are having hierarchy and rules that should be followed strictly. In organic there is a committee, or there will be a and a special integration will be there. Okay, so this is about structure of organization and the organization chart, how it defines the flow of control and flow of work that we have discussed in this one. If you are having any doubts, you please contact me.